All right, guys, we're live here. We're actually live from the Volkswear. We're calling this CRIBS edition. We got the crazy puppy there running around playing with Lex. There's Lex over there. We got a driveway full of Volkswagens. And today, I spent most of the day today doing yard work and mainly mowing the lawn, weed eating, and all that. Fired up a couple of VWs that have been sitting for a while. Actually, ended up going and picking up the 21 window from the barber shop last night. Hey, Cody, what's up, man? Good to see you. Anyways, we picked up the 21 window from the barber shop last night, and we actually swapped it out for my buddy Don Eastman. Hey, Porsche 356, hello. We swapped out the Mango for the 21. And so the 21, actually, we picked it up last night. We actually had to jump start it. It had been sitting for about 2.5 months. And the battery was a little low, so we got it fired up last night. Been driving it around today. Actually took Deanne and out to lunch today in it. Hey, Zach in Sydney. All right, very cool. Watching from Sydney. Hey, good evening, Chris. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So anyways, we got that going. The Deluxe has been here for a couple of days. I've actually been driving the Synchro. Deluxe is actually hooked up to our 67 Apache Eagle. What bus do you have, Porsche 356? Let us know. Comment here. If you guys are watching this video and it's not live, over in the right-hand side, you'll see that all the live comments are coming up. So as we're pausing and responding, we're responding to some of these questions that are popping up. But anyways, I'm going to hand the camera over to Savannah, and I want to show you guys. I've had the 67 sitting here all winter, and I haven't ran it at all. Split camper interiors. You know what? We have a 67 camper at the shop that has a really complete interior, and I'll do a video on that. I'll get something done on that here in the next couple weeks. 55 single cab and a 65 Devon. I like the Devon campers. What model is it? Is it a standard? A lot of times the Devons are actually made out of deluxe buses. That's what I like. I like the Devons because a lot of times you see those made out of 23 window buses. But the Devons are cool. So I'm handed the camera over to Savannah. I'm gonna pause commenting back here for just a second and show you guys something on the 67. I'm gonna fire this up, and the trailer, Musty One's checking in. Nice to see you there, Musty One. So I'll tell you what. Here's the honest truth. Let me pop back over here to the. So about, I guess 2, maybe 3 years ago, I had a 1641 and a stock transaxle in the bus and in the Deluxe here, and we're pulling the camper. We were all loaded up for about a 3 or 4 day trip to Spencer, Idaho, and with that 1641 and stock transaxle, this thing pulled it great. Absolutely no problems. We'd cruise at 60 is about the cruising speed. Then I actually had the transmission. I had the ring and pinion changed in it. We put a Freeway Flyer in it and a 1776, and I tried to take the trailer down to the Octo Prado weekend, and I couldn't do it. So changing the gear ratio in the transaxle completely killed my ability to pull this trailer. So right now it's more of just an around town type deal. I really can't head out on the road with it. I've got another engine. I've actually got a 1776 that I put together, and I'm going to try a set of Cadrones on it. This bus here, the 21's actually got an 1835 in it with Cadrones, and this thing's got power. Like, it just got gobs of power. It's still a stock transaxle. This bus here would have absolutely no problem at all pulling the trailer, but the rusty Deluxe has a little bit of trouble. So But yeah, it was with the stock setup, it was great. As soon as you start messing with the transaxle and gearing it up, I was having all kinds of issues. So anyways, I handed the camera back to Savannah here. I'm gonna fire up the 67. Just focus in right down here, Savannah. Focus right here. Can you get in close? So you guys see what we got going on right here? We got fuel leakage. So I figured I'd do a quick public service announcement video, and we'd swap out these fuel lines real quick on YouTube Live. So I'm gonna grab some tools here. Just pull back just a little. Sometimes you got to do this stuff right in the driveway or on the side of the road. And this is my handy Has-It toolbox that my buddy Don Eastman got me. I've got most everything I need in here for roadside repairs. It's a little disorganized right now, but we're going to pop this apart. Throw some gloves on real quick so I don't stink like gas, because as soon as we're done with this, the girls and I are loading up in the 21 and we're going to head off to Costa Vida, grab some dinner. Oh man, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to get this done tonight. You guys see that right there? Actually, I pulled on this upper fitting and it popped right out of the carburetor. It's kind of a problem on these things. A lot of times you can knurl the edges of these and then kind of tap them back in, but I probably don't have the stuff here to do that in the driveway. We can tap it back in there, probably get it good enough for a quick, you know, for good enough to run it back to the shop anyway. Let's see, let me pop this off. But yeah, I just figured we'd do a quick public service announcement. It's spring. A lot of us are getting cars out that haven't been driven in a while. And it's probably a good time, before you just jump in and take off, it's a really good time to check those fuel lines and change them out if you need to. Another thing that we just got done doing, Savannah actually helped me do this. We've had a few requests for update videos, or not an update, but it's just kind of a follow-up, I guess you'd call it. A follow-up video on the GB40. We've had our GB40 video has been up for about, I guess, what do we figure, 2.5 years? So the GB40 video has been up for about 2.5 years now, and it's had really good response. I mean, that video's had about 340,000 views, I think, is what that video's had. And we use that GB40 quite a bit. Still use it, actually. Grab a razor blade real quick. I'll be right back. So we use that GB40 video quite a bit, or excuse me, GB40 box quite a bit around the shop, around the house. And people have asked for like updates. They want to know how the thing works now, you know, 2.5 years later. Actually, I think the last time somebody was asking for it was about 2 years later. 6 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. So I'm just gonna tap this back in. And then the next time I've got this at the shop, I'll pull that apart and knurl that a little bit. I don't know if there's any glues or adhesives that you can use to hold that in better. I've actually seen guys take and they'll put a piece of wire. They'll put a piece of wire under this clamp and then go over across the top of the carburetor. It's one of the bolts on the top of the carb. Anyways, back to the GB40. That GB40, people have been wanting to know how it's working, you know, 2 years later, 2.5 years later. And so today, as I was going through and we were firing up the lawnmowers for the first time, firing up the weed eaters for the first time, I went back in the back to fire up the old work truck, the old white work truck, and it was dead. I mean, dead as a doornail. And so we decided to do a follow-up video on the GB40. Savannah went back there and helped me out with it. Should be kind of a fun video. We had some interruptions with, what we have, alpacas, the horse, the sheep. We were getting interrupted, but it kind of made the video kind of fun and interesting. So hopefully we'll have that up a little bit later tonight, or maybe first thing in the morning. But let's fire this thing back up. Well, there it is, guys. Quick little fix. Again, I probably need to look at that upper fitting in the carb. If you head over to our website, Volkswear.com, Savannah's got these Honk If I'm on Fire bumper stickers for sale. It's the cheapest fire insurance on the market, or at least the cheapest early warning system on the market. We're thinking about doing another YouTube live video on some of the other stuff Savannah makes for the website. She does some really cool hand-stamped keychains. Maybe we'll do something on that in the next day or two. But be looking for that video on the follow-up video on the NOCO GB40. We'll have that up a little bit later tonight. And if you're pulling your car out of storage, firing it up for the first time this spring, make sure and double check those fuel lines. Probably ought to change this one out here too as well, but like I say, I'm going to get it over to the shop. This will get me to the shop. And then once I get to the shop, I can go through. I'll probably actually change out the fuel line on the other side of the firewall, put a new filter on it, you know, get it working. But this little fuel leak we had here could have been really bad, even just on a short trip over to the shop. Doesn't take much for these things to go up in flames. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for tuning in. We will catch